success rate. So instead of going for a technology that has its own limitations, can we not go for the selective breeding? Can we not educate our farmers that these things are good for? Very simple tips we can give so that they can select the good animals, those who grow much better as compared to few others in the herd, so that they gradually that herd the composition with the particular the fast growing animals will increase, and the fast growing animals they will attend the marketing way this weight earlier, they can be sold, and these precious resources can be utilized efficiently. Next, Dr. Mahant, next, please.
It is there, sir.
So, just I'm talking about this scope and our responsibility. Now, to accomplish the responsibility and to avail the scope, the veterinarians, particularly, what they should acquire, these human endowments and professional competencies. Veterinarians, I compare with them as pediatricians, like pediatricians, because just they have to gather information. As in case of human medicine, the pediatrician gather information from the parent, because the child can't speak much. And he can observe the symptoms. Likely, we have to just gather information from this livestock owners, from the pet owners, and we have to observe the symptoms, and we have to do a bit of an investigation, and we have to deliver the service. So, just to accomplish the task efficiently, we should acquire the managerial and no, it will come later on. That is what is that? That is human skill. The developing the people skill and the communication skill. Without people skill and communication skill, despite our good knowledge and very high this excellent skill, we can't deliver the best, because the diagnosis will be problematic for us. So now that the veterinarian, they work in different organizations. As a junior, we join in the junior most grade. Gradually, over years, we climb up the ladder and we just reach one managerial level. Unless we just develop the managerial skills, we cannot lead our people. We cannot manage our colleagues better to just drive the profession to the desired height. The networking skill, as it is learned from management, that despite all good knowledge and skill, if networking skill is poor, you cannot rise in the one organization where you work. So it is not the necessity of rising the organization for personal gain, but it is almost a necessity to ensure that the profession is moving ahead. So networking skills also we have to acquire, and we should be very possessive of this profession. Very possessive of the profession. Unless we love the profession, how can we serve? You see, this veterinary science is almost 65 years old, because the first veterinary school was established some 260 years back in Lyon in France. So just imagine, the domestication started almost 10,000 years back. But the veterinary science is too young. But how these farmers they do have animals? How the people do have animals? So the domestication of animals and civilization, they move together, and people use their wisdom, and they love animals. Now we have to love animals. We have to love farmers. We have to respect the wisdom of the farmers, so that we can serve the sector better. Unless we love the profession, we can't serve it. We can't serve it. Nowadays, what I observe, the people that take much interest in pet animals could be for this, could be to gain, to make a fortune with pet animal practice. much into food animal practice, because the food animal practice, the food animal development will be public funded. The pet this pet treatment is likely not to be public funded much in your side. We have to take maximum interest in the food animal issues of the food animal. This could be their the protection, could be their development, could be their treatment, and certain issues like this. And most important is that we should have an win-win paradigm. Win-win paradigm. Netflix, a homogeneous entity, or when we work in other organization, a heterogeneous entity, we should always have win-win paradigm and principle-centered action. You see, unless we have win-win paradigm in the life, we cannot just share whatever is required for development or self-development, professional development, and development of the society. And principle-centered action, a sense of north, and south is very much required to give us a proper direction. You see, for example, I can say, where if someone is very highly educated, but if he fails to speak his mind out at crucial juncture, what is the value of that education? Once the noted jurist of India, Nani Palkhiwala, he said, a highly educated man, when he fails to speak his mind out crucial juncture, is a boneless wonder. So, so try to be very positive, try to be very of the profession, try to be principle-centered in action. Be vigilant about the people, those who are just ruining the profession, knowingly or unknowingly. Don't spare them, like this Lord Krishna said to Arjuna in Mahabharata, that whoever is not on the side with dharma is to be treated as an enemy. So our dharma is our profession. So whoever is coming on the way and he's detrimental to profession, if he's a professional brother, he's to be sensitized. Sorry, bhai, you are not on the right path, because because few of us we are very close to the policymakers, and the governance, not all. So at times, knowingly or unknowingly, they might be doing something which is detrimental to the profession. Very politely, they can be sensitized that what is good for the profession. And I can say that public eye is revolving around us. What we are doing, bureaucracy is also watching us meticulously. This whatever tasks are assigned, whatever results we are producing on paper, okay, it is required for the government. But within that achievement, within that governance, this mechanism, bureaucracy, the government is also this observing us very meticulously. To also public and the media and all. So it is high time that we should rise to the occasion and be very transparent. And likely, I can say the last one is the staying alert. The staying alert and continuously the scanning the environment and come with action. When come with action that is demand driven, not supply driven. Supply driven activity will have a very questionable future. And particularly the veterinarians have to be well informed. And see, nowadays the informations are in plenty in the internet and from other sources. Previously, this information system, it was not that smart. It was dependent on the government organization and few parastatal bodies. But at present, there are the people who access to the information at large. So we have to keep ourselves updated, and that is called self-renewal. Self-renewal, this continual improvement, not continuous. If your continuous improvement means you can also calm down. If a continual improvement, you can achieve some stage. Then you from that stage you have to go to the higher stage, so that the decline will not be much. So the continual improvement in the three areas could be the physical, could be the mental, could be the spiritual and professional. Physical, unless the veterinarians are physically fit, we should go for all this pranayam, yoga, exercise, and all good lifestyle habits, so that we can keep ourselves healthy to meet the rigor of the demand. That is the field job. As a field veterinarian, also could be in research. Also, we have to be very fit, fit and fine. Likely, with our all good cognitive functions, with our mental ability, we'll have the ability to relate issues. Unless we relate issues, relate a good conclusion, good opinion or a good service. Likely this spiritual this renewal, it's a continuous activity. So the spirituality, irrespective of any religion, say I am also Hindu, I talk about the Bhagavad Gita or a Quran or a Bible, and all this God is one, and we should be very religious, and this sense of religious, that makes us God fearing, and that makes us more service oriented, that drives us to provide service to the people at need. And lastly, the professional, this competence, this professional renewal. Suppose, for example, me, I graduated in the year 1980. In 1980, whatever we are taught, there's much improvement by, say, around 90. I can say one example, that corticosteroid, the cortical theory of parturition, it was not taught to us as an undergraduate. But so the cortical, its role in pregnancy, this particular the parturition, and its misuse, it can terminate pregnancy. It was not known to us. So without updating the knowledge, after the year 87, also I administered the cortical to pregnant animals with its own this one consequences. So in the year 87, first the salute to the great veterinarian like Dr. Suresh Das. He was deputy director FSB Bhavani Panna. He purchased one book, Theriogenology by Morrow. In that book, and I learned that the cortical theory of parturition. So we became very cautious regarding the use of cortical in the last one trimester of science. There are many developments. We have to keep us updated, and with much concern, I am sharing that as CDBO, when I just participate in some of the farmers trainings, our level of information that is required to be shared with the farmers was not up to the mark on many occasions, and I motivated my colleagues to keep them updated, and this come with this the most effective solution to the problem of the farmers. So likely, I can say that all we veterinarians, we can take oath on this auspices of this World Veterinary Day celebration to be very proactive with win-win paradigm, and believing in self-renewal, physical, mental, spiritual, and this professional, and principle-centered action, and very possessive of the profession, to see it very effective and vibrant, and because it provides us bread and butter, so also it gives opportunity to provide the nutrition to the society and make the world a safe place to live. Thank you all.